Por ver la esquina de Jody. Thank you for watching Jody's Corner.
Welcome to Jody's Corner, everybody. I'm Jody Joe. Thank you guys so very much for being here. Piers Morgan interviewed Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate, polarizing as heck. A lot of people call him a womanizer, misogynistic, all this other stuff. But Andrew Tate is on the Piers Morgan show, and then they have a little back and forth because it's 6 minutes long, and I want to react to this bad boy. So let's go.
An enormous following of mostly young men, and his often scandalous views about women that have made him notorious across the world. Views like this.
So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes. When a
bride
is walking down the aisle to marry the groom, the father walks next to her and gives her away. True or false?
Tate's opinions on mental illness are equally controversial.
I don't believe in depression. Don't message me about depression because I don't believe in it. If you're asleep in your bed in the middle of the night and you hear a noise and you believe in ghosts, now you're afraid. But if you don't believe in ghosts, it's the wind and you go back to sleep. You give the ghosts power by believing in them.
I gotta keep it a buck, y'all. I agree with a lot of the stuff that Andrew Tate says, and I disagree with a lot of the stuff he says. And those two instances right there, huge disagreement. But Piers Morgan knows what he's doing, so let's go ahead and see what he has planned.
Social media platform banned Tate amid a global backlash of concerns about his influence on the young people who watch him.
Yes, Twitter, everybody banned him.
Shared millions of times every day. This show is called Uncensored. One of the challenges views directly, so he flew from Romania to sit here in this studio, and the full explosive interview airs later this week. Here's a bit of what's to come. Do you respect women?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Do you think that 18, 19-year-old women are more attractive than 25-year-old women?
I think there's attractive people. That's a loaded question. I don't know.
Well, it's not really, is it?
I can't.
You know why I'm asking you?
Of course I do, but I can't sit here and
say.
For
the benefit of viewers who don't know why I'm asking, you said this. In general, this is also one of the reasons men find youth attractive. You want to blow up the internet? I'll blow up the internet right effing now. The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25-year-olds is because they've been through less dick. People say, oh, you can't say that. Yes, I can. A 19-year-old is more attractive than a 26-year-old woman, and I'll tell you why. Because that 26-year-old has talked to more guys, been to the club more times, been effed and dumped more times, more arguments, more mess, more for me to clean up. That is misogyny.
Why?
That's misogyny. No, I disagree with that being misogyny. So let me, an 18-year-old who hasn't been through much life as far as like trauma, sexual partners, baggage, right? Versus somebody who's 25, who's probably had more partners. Then yes, in those instances, the 18-year-old is more attractive to the average general man. The general man will pick the 18-year-old over the 25. And I don't care what, you disagree with this all you want, but I'm telling you what most men will do. Most men will pick the younger, less molded woman. And a lot of women would say, it's because you want to mold her and brainwash her. It's not a brainwashing thing, but it is definitely a molding thing. Men would rather mold their wives into what accompanies them the most, what complements them the most. Not to brainwash them, but to show them the way things are. What best things in life to value. Morale, spirituality, maturity, stuff like that. Are there bad actors? Yeah, but what he's saying here ain't false. You know what I'm saying? As far as like what's more attractive, would you rather have a beautiful older woman or a beautiful younger woman? And for men, we're very surface level, so most men would rather have a beautiful younger woman, and that's not misogynistic. That's a preference. So I don't know what Piers talking about. You tripping, Piers?
Because you are encouraging a mindset about 25-year-old women that makes them sound out to be.
Thanks a lot. Just got my water, y'all.
Infinitely less desirable than 18, 19-year-olds, and having effectively been having too much sex to be taken in a more respectful way.
That would,
okay.
Even if that was the case, that wouldn't be misogyny.
Well, what did you mean?
Correct.
By what you said?
That's not misogyny because it's not anti-women. I'm saying that an 18 or 19-year-old woman would be more desirable.
Pretty anti-25-year-old woman.
Anti-25-year-old women we can argue, but not misogyny.
Well, that's misogyny.
No, it's not.
Being anti any woman at all is misogyny.
Whoa. Anti-25-year-old woman's misogyny. No, this is categorization. He's not talking about anti-women. He's talking about preference. It's not anti-25-year-old woman because it's not just the 25-year-old woman. if you have a 25-year-old woman as the only option, he's probably going to go for that. Not, oh, you're 25, get out of here. No, if you put up a 25, you're 18, now there's a preference. That doesn't make it anti-25. It means I prefer 18. Pierce, you on that slick shit, bro.
Not when I'm saying that women are. No, it's not.
Well, being anti any woman at all is misogyny.
Not when I'm saying that women are beautiful and attractive at a certain age and saying that age.
You're saying 18, 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25.
Well, than ageist perhaps, but misogynistic.
Yes.
Absolutely
But
Yes.
you just accepted it was misogyny.
No, I didn't. You said it was misogyny. I'm telling you, no, it's not.
But if a 26-year-old woman is watching this and has heard those comments,
Yeah.
would you just say to her, look, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that?
No, I won't. I will say that I am sorry that offends you. However, there's a large contingent of the world.
That doesn't mean you're sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. That's the point I'm making. I'm sorry if that offends you. However, there's a large contingent of the world that believe that, and I was mediating for a conversation.
Parts of the world that believe that about 26-year-old women are parts of the world where women are not allowed out on their own.
That's a conversation.
They have to wear full burqas.
Well, that's a conversation.
They're not
to
allowed
have.
to drive cars.
That's nothing to do with it.
But is that the kind of world for a woman that you?
I was mediating a conversation.
No, I'm asking you what you think.
I don't live in a country where that happens.
So you're using that as the excuse
Right.
for why you're not sorry for saying.
He's trying to hold him responsible for the entire world's population, and he could only talk about the society in which he lives in. Come on, Pierce, bro. What's going on here? This is an attack. People higher up tell him, get that woman heading. And I get it. Andrew Tate be saying he's radical, and I don't support radical behavior. Andrew Tate has very radical takes that I can't get behind because I'm very much in the middle. I take what's good and bad from both sides. But god dang, Pierce, man, Pierce is clearly on an agenda here to destroy this man live on TV, and so far it's not working.
Saying it.
It's not an
Is that
excuse.
there are parts of the world where this is fine?
My
So
friend.
my question to you is, well, do you think it's fine?
I don't think it's fine. I live in a world where
You don't think it's fine?
the reason
This
I
isn't that hard, Andrew. You can simply say, Piers, you know what?
Let him
In
talk.
hindsight, I wish I hadn't said it like that. And if a 26-year-old woman's watching, I'm sorry I said that, because that actually is blatantly misogynist. And even though that's a view held by other parts of the world, it's not a view I share. Now, I would respect you more if you said that than if you try and say, well, it's said in other parts of the world, so I'm not sorry.
I think you
That
need,
doesn't tell me what you think.
then you need to understand why my content existed in the first place.
Okay,
My
break it
content
down.
existed because I tried my very hardest to be an absolute and utter realist, especially with uncomfortable truths. I was pointing out that very uncomfortable.
Is that a truth?
It's an uncomfortable truth in many parts of the world. It's not a truth that I'm happy about.
An inquest this week found that a 14-year-old...
Holy
girl,
shit.
Molly,
Hey, Pierce, you like to hear yourself talk, don't you? You like to hear yourself talk. Are you interviewing? Is this an interview or is this a declaration? Is this a debate as far as a one-sided affair? Are you interviewing this man to understand why he thinks the way he thinks? Because you're doing a terrible job and you're incredibly unprofessional here. Regardless of either side, whoever is at that table, he's being very unprofessional. You're asking questions and then cutting him off before he could give you a full answer. And then you ask him a question, and as he starts to elaborate, you completely change the subject with another question. Bully tactic behavior here. Pierce, you trash, bro.
Russell died from an act of self-harm while suffering from depression and the negative effects of online content. The coroner said she was exposed to material that may have influenced her in a negative way, and in addition, what started as depression had become a much more serious depressive illness, and she's very sadly took her life.
That's absolutely disgusting.
Right. Her father,
It's terrible.
her father's campaign for better protections against potentially dangerous social media algorithms, right? It says that the particularly graphic content she saw romanticized acts of self-harm, normalized her condition, and focused on a limited and irrational view without any counterbalance of normality. First of all, what is your response to that? Nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
Ask you what your response
that's the first thing. Yeah, it is nothing to do with me. The fact that a 14-year-old girl took her life is truly sad. The world we live in today is the world we live in. The fact that something like that happened is almost mind-blowing to me. That's true.
The fact that Piers Morgan brought up the random death of a girl who committed to herself, and in this context, you're relating him to the problem of her. You see, this is tactics. This is so wrong. You are relating the death of a poor girl to Andrew Tate, even if you verbally say that has nothing to do with you, but showing the image, showing the graphic, showing the story in this conversation is automatically going to put into a lot of viewers' minds who are just think visually in the back of their minds, some of in the front of their minds, that, oh, Andrew Tate is the reason why this girl's gone. And that's exactly what the producers did for this show. They know it's effective power, and they understand that most of the people that watch this interview will automatically relate Andrew Tate's content to that girl's demise, and that is scummy.
That's truly sad. I actually feel sad inside to see something like that.
What has come clear to me in the interview is that a lot of things you say you wouldn't say now that you've said before.
But I'd say them differently, perhaps.
Yeah, right. So to me, that's an acceptance. Not just that you want to get back on platforms, because maybe that was one of the reasons you were no platform, but that you've recognized and understood the potential harm to the wrong kind of impressionable mind by some of the things you've said. Would that be fair?
I think that's 80% fair. I recognize and understand that with massive fame, you have to be more careful about being misconstrued. Like I said earlier, 1% of people misunderstanding you doesn't matter with a small audience. It matters with a very large audience. With power comes responsibility. I still believe the things I say. I do not want to be a negative force for the world. I also understand that I am a man who's lived a very difficult, nuanced life, and I am capable of making nuanced points that may be misunderstood by teenagers. However, that can be said about anybody and everything. Every opinion online can be misunderstood by children. Trying to protect children from the internet is a very interesting subject.
Almost impossible.
I would argue
mine
80%
is
of the content on the internet could be negative or detrimental to a young mind who doesn't understand the world.
And that's the glimpse of it. Maybe, to be fair to Piers, maybe since he did say these were clips and highlights, maybe it's just the editing that's making it seem like he's cutting off Andrew Tate. Maybe I'll be more open-minded. You know, I've been learning to grow and be more open-minded and understand the other side of the fence. But that really just jumped off. That doesn't excuse the fact that he showed that little girl who did that to herself. That's still scummy. I stand by that regardless. But maybe, you know what I'm saying, it's the way this was edited that makes it look that way. Just trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can. And that's the thing. I'm unbiased in this situation. I believe Andrew Tate got kicked off of the platform because he was too radical in what he was saying. And there's one major thing that I've noticed being on YouTube for 6 years now, is that I've noticed that sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And when it's not how you say it, sometimes it is what you say. But there's layers to this. Sometimes it's what you say, and sometimes it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. And in this instance where Andrew Tate himself admits that maybe I delivered that the wrong way. Maybe I had the wrong attitude. Maybe I was too aggressive when I said it. Maybe there was too much bass in my voice when I said it. Maybe it was just it was wrong place, wrong time. Maybe the context was bad. Understanding that me, myself, and Andrew as well, sometimes you say things the wrong way. There's better ways of getting your opinion across than screaming, yelling, or being very hot or cold. Very hot or cold. There's sometimes you got to gray area that thing in order to deliver your message. Yeah, man, when this full interview comes out, I plan on breaking this bad boy down. Subscribe to Jody's Corner to make sure that you have the alerts turned on. Make sure that if you guys, and this is help for other people, like, even if you turn the alerts on and you're not notified, YouTube doesn't do a great job in notifying my subscribers or a lot of other people's subscribers. But in your phone settings, if you don't have notifications turned on in your app for YouTube, then you won't get notified even if you have notifications on YouTube. So that's to help you and your other creators that you're subscribed to. Maybe you guys are subscribed to other creators and you don't even get their alerts. It's probably because that in your phone settings, like your iPhone or your Android, you go to the YouTube app and select settings and then make sure notifications are turned on your phone. Because even if they're on anywhere else, you won't get notified if you turn them off on your phone. So thank you guys so very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys have a great day. Tonight, we're live at 5 o'clock to talk about more of Andrew Tate, as well as other topics, including the Kanye. We're talking about Kanye and Candace Owens. Kanye West wore a t-shirt that says White Lives Matter. How do I feel about that? How do my other people feel about that? We're going to talk about it tonight at 5 o'clock. Subscribe, and I'll see you in just a matter of a couple of hours. Jody's Corner Live is no longer going to be public. Join memberships if you want access starting next week. Thank you so very much for being here. I'm Jody Joe, and I'm out this thing. Deuces.